welcome. What's going on? What's going on? That's right, it's that time again. It's the Master Channel. Ha ha. Episode number 7. Been a long time. Me and CX, the producer, have been on a hiatus, but we're back. That's right. I am DJ Wide Body.
And I'm CX, the producer.
And like I said, this is the Master Channel. Today, we got a special guest for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a real exciting interview. Been trying to get this guy on for a while, but he's finally on, ladies and gentlemen. From Baltimore, Maryland. Let's give a warm welcome to Hillprop 97. Hillprop 97.
What's up, man? Wide Body CX. Thanks for having me on, bro.
What's going on, brother?
It's a pleasure being on here, man.
Hey, pleasure to have you, man. Long time coming.
Always enjoy building with you guys.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
What's up?
Yeah, man. We been trying to get you on for a while, man. You here? We just gonna have some conversation. Got some questions to throw at you, man. We just gonna, shoot the shit, both technically and creativity wise, as far as this thing of ours called hip hop and culture hip hop. And that's that, man. So sounds good to you. Sounds good to me. Let's take off. Let's roll.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go ahead and start it off, man. Hey, so I want to ask you, Hillprop, what age did you start getting into production, and how did it all start, man?
Well, I gotta say it all starts from childhood, man. I never played any type of instruments, never was trained on anything. So as a kid, I was never even thinking about making any type of music, It all started for me maybe 6, 7 years old. Memories of my father playing records in the basement. Mother playing tapes in the car, cassette tapes, and my father had a collection or whatever, and we would go on road trips. My parents, they never flew anywhere. We would drive everywhere. So we'd drive down south, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia. We had family all over, Chicago. So while we was in the car, my father had the cassette tapes popping. He put the Temptations, the Spinners. He loved the Spinners.
Right.
Probably know every Spinner song there is, man. And, driving through the South, the radio stations change every
yeah.
few, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you expose different types of music, anywhere from hip hop to country to pop, R&B, jazz. So I got a love for like all musical genres, and all that's like embedded in in my memory. All those grooves that you hear, all those bass lines on songs that you hear.
Yeah.
And later on that would come into play when I'm chopping up records and formulating beats or whatever.
Right.
All that comes into play. But it started like I started making mixtapes. I was taking my father's records back in like 94, 95.
Okay.
I bought turntables, Gemini PT 2000s.
I had one of those. Those are good ass record players, man.
Too, like they still work, like
Right.
And yeah. So I was taking those and I was making mixtapes. I was taking like Kool and the Gang, Isaac Hayes, and mixing them, practicing my mixing skills or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was more so like into DJing, like I would say like a bedroom DJ when I first started.
Yeah.
And I was on like the Scratch Pickles tapes, Qbert. I was getting into trying to get into beat juggling, scratching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after a while, I was like, I kind of want to make the music. So I started making little songs here and there on the software. This was like 98,
okay,
97, 98 or whatever. I had, back then they had little Cubase had like a DAW or whatever, and you can sample into it and make beats or whatever. I was taking drum breaks and time stretching them over samples. Like I wasn't chopping the sample shit. I was just taking the sample or loop, and then putting them over the drum break, and those were my beats.
Wow.
Until I this DR202 made by Boss.
Boss, yeah.
But it was just had a little drum hits in there, little kicks, little 808s, bass lines and stuff like that. And then it was like, I kind of need a sampler because that's what I want to do. So I bought my first MPC, the MPC 2000 XL in 2000, 2001, whenever it came out.
Wow, man.
And that was my joint.
Let me ask you, man. Back then those MPCs were like a a year worth of car payments.
I think I put down 400 on the MPC, and I paid the rest in like $57-$60 a month or whatever.
Wow. So you kind of like right from the gate, you had an MPC, so you basically were kind of born into the culture with an MPC. That's dope, man. You know?
Yeah, but back then, man, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I had it, and I forget how I think I found out. I knew about it because Bob Magazine, I think one of the organized noise producers was talking about how good it was. I forget which one. It was either Rico or Sleepy Eye. I forget his name. I forget who was talking about it. They was like the MPC 2000 XL. It had just came out, and I think they were talking about it. And I was like, you know what? Okay, let me get that. This was no YouTube. Internet wasn't really popping off like that as far as like going on in forums and and learning about different equipment. Yeah, there was none of that. So I got that, and I dealt with that for a couple years, just messing around with it. Yeah, I was hitting pads and wondering why I wasn't hearing anything. It's because it's a sample. You put your own music into it. I didn't know that. Right. I thought it was broke or something. Wow. That's how behind the 8 ball I was. I had no idea what I was doing until I started watching YouTube. Came around like 2004, 2005. Yeah. And I saw that Pete Rock video, him on the MPC. Yep, I remember that. Special edition 3 version, I think. He had the blue one, the blue joint. Sorry, yeah, the blue one. No, he didn't have the special. Yeah, the blue one. Yeah, you're right. Card reader. No, well, he had the zip disc. Okay. And I saw him doing his thing on that. The Love Is the Battlefield joint. Yeah. And then I saw Kev Brown, and he flipped that Eddie Floyd sample. Rose and Purpose behind the camera, and they were, that's when I was like, okay, Kev is tracking him out. He's doing the bass line, he's hitting record, play or whatever, and recording the kick. I was like, okay, so that's how you do it. So later on, I was just watching videos like that. He came out with these not really tutorials, these beat commentaries Kev Brown did, and he put them out, and he just talk about a song that he did, and he do like the behind the scenes, how he sampled this, the kicks, he break down the tracks or whatever. And I that way too, watching those, listening to those tapes and going on YouTube and watching videos until around like 2008 or 9 or something. I started putting my own joints on YouTube. 2008, okay. Asking feedback or whatever, and people was hitting me back and giving me feedback, and I was just trying to learn. People started feeling my beats or whatever, and I started gaining information from forums, mpcforums.com, different other producers, and so I started sharing the knowledge, and somehow that came into play when I started doing the DVD tutorials later on. That's dope. We were talking before, and I was saying, because I've known of you for a while, even before the collective started, and I've actually grabbed like why I sample my drums from records. I got those tips from you going into the mixer, how you filtering out your kicks and your snares. So it's dope that a cat like you, coming where you come from, has no problem on sharing your techniques with the masses, man. And you have some people that don't want to give you the what do you call it, the holy grail of what they do. And my thing is, man, you could give somebody a sample, 3 people a sample, and they're gonna flip it differently. So that's dope of you, man, and do that. Little do you know, man, I don't know if you know now, because you probably helped out man, I can't even count how many people, from me, not even knowing who you are, just tuning into you, how thorough you are, and the less, you straight to business, man. You get on there and you're there for the music and whatever you're doing on that. But that's dope of you to do that, man, because some people, like I said, you have a lot of people that don't want to give you the cheat code. And man. I understand that. I know where it comes from, because, going back to what you talked about, I was talking about sampling from records and using the DJ mixer and EQing. Yeah, I got that information from Pete Rock, like a Guitar Center interview. He was talking about. I was like, oh, for real? Okay, so that's how. Okay, so you you shape your drums, you sort of shape your drum hits before they even get into the sampler. You know, because earlier samplers didn't have all the the extra EQs and stuff inside it. Now you could just sample anything into your machine and process the whole song in it. You know what I mean? But back then you had to rely on outboard gear and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I got that tip from Pete Rock. But I think that mentality where people sort of hold on to their secrets came from maybe early hip hop, the DJ. You were only as good as your records. Yeah. So DJs sort of hide the records they had. They didn't let people know, okay, this is a break from this song right here. Right. Only if you knew the DJ, they might share some knowledge. You know what I mean? African Bambaataa shared a lot of knowledge to different DJs about records and breaks and stuff like that. But I think that whole garden, what you had in your crate, sort of passed down to the production and everything like that. Right. But the greats, man, they shared knowledge, man. I appreciate Pete Rock for doing it. Kev Brown, you know what I mean? And so, and people on the forums that I learned from, npcforums.com. So I was like, man, I got this knowledge, man. I want to share it. And, hopefully, it's an exchange, even exchange. People tell me stuff. I'm like, okay, I never thought I could do that with the sampler. I never, thought I could make a beat that way. Right. And we all get better, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Keep this whole culture alive. We got to pass this down to the next generation, if we want this to last. This boom bap, you know what I mean? No doubt. And that's going to lead into my next question. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but as far as passing things down, what are your thoughts now? I don't know how much you listen to the mainstream radio. What are your thoughts on where mainstream hip hop has went? It's in the last, say, 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, so it's been going in cycles, man. Try again later. It got on. It went away. I remember Swiss Beats came along and he was sampling the keyboard or whatever. Yeah. And people was like, nah, this is a little different. And it got hot. People was really feeling the DMX, songs that had the keyboard playing hard drum, boom bap drums. Yeah. He was taking drums from his 3000 and SP 1200 and playing, his keyboard over the drums or whatever. And then, that got sort of I don't want to say played out, but it went back to Sam and Kanye and other producers came in and started sampling again. Yeah. And sampling, got real popular again, during the Blueprint era. Oh yeah, man. That was my era there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Cash Money came into it and crunk music, Lil Jon came into it, the South just started, they took over, man. Yeah. And I wasn't hating because, I got family down south. I was down south when 90, 91, when Master P was just, starting to pop off. And they was playing them on the radio or whatever. And so, I had love, but the music that I grew up, the boom bap was sort of being pushed to the, pushed away or whatever. Right. And, then, a few years later we got trap music, which is, some of it I dig, you know what I mean? I love music, so if it sounds good, I'm a gravitate toward it. Right. So that's sort of where we are now as far as mainstream. Right. It's the trap music. But I love a lot of producers now are doing the sampling, but they just doing the trap drums over the samples. Yeah. I've seen a lot of that too. I would like to see that more of that. I love samples, so right. I'd love to see the trap drums over the samples and of course bring the boom bap. That's what I love. That's what I grew up on. Right. I'm the same way. I think my opinion, is that's how I look at hip hop being the foundation of hip hop, man, is being break beats and finding whatever you can, samples, recreating shit. We did a lot of looping in the 90s. That's understood. Yeah. Pete Rock did a lot of chopping. What's his name? Marley Marl. He chopped.
it's wherever being chopped or looped, it's always been samples in hip hop. And my thoughts on it, I'm not 19, 20, years old anymore. I remember a time when I was that age and our parents kind of looked at hip hop like, okay, I kind of get it. Right. I kind of get it. But when we started, hip hop, hip hop was just kind of starting out, finding his way when we were around that time. So I'm cool with the trap stuff if that's what they want to do. If that's how they want to express themselves, fine. Me in a perfect world, I wish there was more substance into what they did. I wish you could kind of be crafty with it, and even if you want to throw subliminals and things, and when the words mean something, man, and to me it was always a challenge on, let me say something that makes sense and that rhymes. That was the whole, the challenge of it was to rhyme and make sense, take somebody on a trip, take somebody on a story. We always had, people getting messed up. We always had, most hit songs are very simplified. They're not complicated. I understand it. We always had patches of that. In a perfect world, I wish that this trap music had more substance to it, but it's what these kids are vibing on, that's fine. My only thing with it is, I don't think, it's kind of like disco and R&B. Kind of like the same, but not, different names. I think that trap needs to be its own genre, and we still have the foundation with the boom bap that's evolved into other things, and I think all of it has room. It has room on the mainstream. My problem with this, and somebody can say, "Oh well, don't worry about the radio. We ain't gotta have it on the radio." That's fine, but guess what? You don't get any new fans because they're not hearing it. These kids are listening on the radio, they ain't going looking for what we do on these other sites. Some of them are, but not most of them. So we're not gaining any more fans, and people aren't. Some of them are, but most of them aren't. We're not gaining any more fans to it, and that's my only problem with it. And I think that with this internet and with the radio and everything, I think that there's lanes for everything, because they did the same shit in the 90s. They had lanes for backpack, the West Coast had their lane, the Lovers had, LL had his lane, any kind of hip hop you want to imagine, they had lanes for it, and all flourished. It was enough money to go around for everybody.
There was balance. Like, there's no balance now. Like, the radios, they have this set playlist or whatever, and I guess it's all trap. So that's what they're gonna play. So that's all the kids are hearing. So that's all they're being exposed to. Right. If they were exposed to more of a balance, you know what I mean?
Right.
That would be a good thing. But there is no balance. Like, back in the day, we had the commercial artists or whatever.
Yeah.
We had the party rap. We had the people that couldn't rap all that well. They weren't mumble rappers, but they were looked down on. But people rocked to them in the party or in the club or whatever. It was what it was. Like, you weren't really looking for them for lyrics.
Right.
But when we wanted lyrics, we had a Rakim, a Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Rap. People from the West Coast. I mean, we had all that.
Right.
And right now, it don't seem like the kids. It's there, but they don't know it's there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love the rappers now. You got Joey Badass. You got Kendrick.
Joyner Lucas.
What's this dude with Nas? Forget his name, out of New York. But
you talking about Dave East?
Dave East, yeah. He got some trap joints on his album, but it's fire. Like,
he's bringing it.
It's lit.
Word.
He got lyrics.
Word.
So it has some substance.
Right.
And I wish there was more of that. I wish there was more Dave East and, that the kids can hear and that they would play it on the radio.
Right, right. I missed, when you aspired, like these young artists, when they aspired to be the dopest MC, MCing kind of got pushed out of it, man. And it became,
Yeah, because originally, it was like the best DJ. When hip hop first started, it was all about the DJ. The MC was just there to glorify the DJ. And then the DJ got pushed to the side, and the MC came forward, and everybody wanted to be a lyricist. Everybody wanted to be a Grandmaster Caz or Kumo D or Rakim or whatever.
Right.
Somehow, some way, it got from that to just all about money. know what I mean? It's just
Yep.
getting on, playing whatever hot at the time.
Yep.
And you know, taking the sound at the time and exploiting it.
Right.
Putting whatever over it, saying whatever you want to. Talk about Molly, talk about whatever.
Right.
You know, Poison, who you want to talk about. And it seems like that's hot now. Like that's on the radio.
Right. I mean, we had our vices back in the day. You know, these kids, yeah. These kids are on some other shit.
And like, you know, weed and crack together, woolies.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
That but it wasn't like they weren't like promoting it. Like, you know, you need to do it. You know, it was like it was what they did, but it wasn't like we gonna make a song about it.
Right.
You know, and then it wasn't like hardcore, like, you know, chemical, you know, drugs or whatever. It was like weed and whatever. But yeah, now it's like they push that in front. Like that's what the song's about now. Yep. They got songs talking about Molly and whatever.
Bass. That's like
stuff. You know what I mean? So it's the mentality's different now. Yeah. And you know, it's less kids like the mainstream music is not for kids anymore. You know what I mean? No. Yeah, mainstream rap back in the day, you know, kids could listen to. I mean, kids listen to anything anyway, but at least on the radio, they wouldn't play certain songs. You know what I mean? They had your MC Hammer, your LL Cool J, or whatever, or on the radio playing for, you know, right, for the masses. Now it's just anybody on the radio talking about anything. Right. You know what I mean? So it's a little different now. I'll be interested in seeing where this goes. Like, is it going to turn back around, or is it just going to keep getting worse and worse? Like, what are you going to talk about 10 years from now? What's going to be the hotness? Hotness?
You know, be honest with you, I don't, man. You know, you're on IG and you see these kids, they're beefing online. These rappers are beefing with each other, going at each other on IG. And at the same time, I'm saying, where's the music at? Put that stuff on wax, man. Let's go. I don't got no problem if you keep it on wax. I don't have a problem with beef. Keep it on wax. Let's go. Yeah. But they're not doing that. I think the social media is kind of like taking these cats from behind the mic, man, and they're just, it's like they're bloggers now, man. It's weird, man, you know?
It's scary to see where this goes. Right. Next 10 years. I don't see, hopefully it turns around and, you know, we get things together.
Absolutely.
And, we get some balance, you know, we get more Kendricks, we get more J. Cole.
Yes, very talented.
You ever know? There's a lot of Conway, like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a lot of people out here that has lyrics. Yeah. Right. That's young. You know what I mean? You get more of that.
Right. Get their just due. You know, you know, to me, I always say the real will persevere. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the Master Channel, my co-host and yours, CX the producer.
CX.
What's happening?
What's going on?
All right. Yeah, we in here talking about the mainstream hip hop and where it's been, and Hillprop was making some good points out there. You know, as far as these kids rapping about these mollies, these these generated drugs now, and we didn't. Man, we had the stoners and stuff back in the day, but it wasn't like, they glorify. I'm not a weed smoker, but I don't see anything wrong if somebody wants to use marijuana. Now, I do got a problem with somebody sniffing cocaine and smoking crack. That's a little different. It's not the same.
They were doing it back then, but it wasn't. They weren't like glorifying it. Like, people was mixing crack with their weed or whatever. PCP. Right. They were smoking woolies back then, late 80s or whatever. Right. But it wasn't like, it wasn't something they promoted. You know what I mean? It wasn't putting the music.
Straight up.
But nowadays, it's way different. Like, it's music and the mollies and everything is all one, and that's all they talk about. It seemed like,
right.
Yeah, this the generation of the addict.
Oh yeah, like it's cool to be a junkie now,
yeah.
Which is crazy. He was looked down upon back in the day for being a junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the generation of the addict. I mean, most of it is destructive anyway. I mean, but when we talked about those type of things back then, it was more so from a selling perspective.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't a good thing, but still, I mean, I think even though that was harmful to our generation, everybody wanted to be the top hustler back then. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to say one's worse than the other, but I can say this. I mean, there was a reason why Nancy Reagan came out with those "Say No to Drugs," commercials.
Right? Oh yeah, I remember.
True indeed.
You know, so.
Crazy back then.
Yep, war and drugs and like that. But I got one more, and then I'll see if CX. I'm asking me. Let me. So we're in the same vein. Do you e-dig, man, or you strictly vinyl?
Oh man, I was e-digging when it was like looked down upon. Like people was like, I had this one video back in like maybe 2010 or something like that, where I was like, I was using the 3000. I had the black LE T3000, and I took I think a Mod Jamal sample or something from off YouTube, and I put that in the title, YouTube digging or something like that, over some boom bap drums or something like that, and I had like hate mail,
Wow.
was like, you know what I mean? I was like, this is. I mean, I ain't really. I did understand the mentality, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, I guess they were purists, and they was coming at me. I guess, I don't know. Maybe they were just hating. I don't know. But back in the day, people used records because that's what they had available.
That's all they had, right?
You know what I mean? They used records. They used maybe cassette tape, but records was the thing, like DJ, and it was no MP3s back then. It was records,
right?
And I can understand people talking about the quality of the MP3 and all that, but you can address that with EQ and simple EQing, and you would never know.
Right.
Especially now, the quality of the MP3s and YouTube videos is so so good now. Back then it was a little shaky. Yeah, I got hate mail for that, but yeah, I was
crazy.
digging. Yeah, I see no problem with it, but it's nothing like digging for records, especially with the group. You got your boys. You go into a shop, you trading stories or whatever. Or I know this about that record. Don't get that record because it got you can't do that really with e-digging. But I don't see anything wrong with it, especially now. It's so easy. And you exposed to more music online. You know what I mean?
Damn straight about
Stuff
that.
You can't find in the Goodwill or record shop. You can find online,
right? Or
you can find on YouTube. Just type it in. You know what I mean? And it's all about the time, using the technology to boost your.
Back when we didn't have that luxury, we were grabbing what we can grab. I would thought that would have kind of evolved, and it would have been understood. I was grabbing what we had at the time. We were limited, so now we not limited. So let's use what we have, our resources.
I don't understand it. I mean, coming from that time of using records and all that stuff back then. I mean, it like you said. I mean, that's all we had to use, but we used other stuff too. See, those guys who consider themselves so-called purists. Like I'm not trying to. Put an age out there, but I can go way back before they even thought about even digging for records. You know what I'm saying? And if you watch Beat Street and all that, dude was recording everything. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just no record. And if all these purists, so-called RZA type dudes, where they think he got all those karate moves from? It wasn't on vinyl. You feel what I'm saying? It was on VHS and Beta.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it comes from anywhere. I don't care where you get the sample from. I mean, if that's the case, then every dude that used that splice stuff and all that other stuff and using all these sound packs, then they ain't purists.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Because we had to find drums, then bass, then guitar, and all this off of records.
I was considered corny. Like you using. You buying your drums online?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody else making your own sounds? What's going on with you, man? You're not getting your. Yeah, that was considered corny. Now it's okay. You know what I mean? People making dope. Like I just got the Kev Brown Soul Provider joint. Using it today, actually, yesterday.
Shout out Kev Brown.
And
shout out Kev.
Yo, that joint is so nice, man. Got the bass tones in there and the drums, and if you want to mess with the samples, you got samples in there. But I was just messing with the drums.
Wow.
And I popped up some Isaac Hayes. What's this? It's Isaac Hayes record.
So Kev got a sound kit?
Yeah. It's called Akai. It's called the Soul Provider.
Oh, okay.
The one he did with Akai.
Yeah. That second sound, Akai came together with Kev and Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. So I have no problem e-digging or I'm not really a sound sound pack do, but I mean, they have dope ones out there, like the one I just told you about. But yeah, it's all about using what you have to, and putting your own spin on it, and making something dope. As long as the music is good, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't look down on it.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, it's a little thunderstorm and rainy right now. That's why I'm going in and out. But let me ask you something. I don't know if Wild Body covered this before I got in. What's your favorite unit? MPC, whatever.
I'm straight Kai head. I started with the XL, early in 2000, but so it's gonna be an MPC. It was the XL, like that was my go-to joint for years. But once these hybrid MPCs came out, it's hard to go back to a limited sampler. You know what I mean? It's hard to my watch going. Sorry about that. It's hard to go back to I still do, like I got the SP1200 and the 3000, and I gotta be in a certain mood, and I gotta want a certain sound to go back to those machines. But right now it's the MPC Live by far, man. It just does everything I want. It has a touch screen. I've been wanting a touch screen with wave, that you can manipulate the waves with your fingers or whatever for the longest time. Like I was happy when the iPad came out with that IPC Pro, and you can make beats on the iPad, you know what I mean, and manipulate the wave files and chop stuff, ease. Then MPC came out. Kai came out with the standalone joint. I was blown away, and I go back and forth between the 2500, the MPC 2500 with the JJOS. I still love that. I can create pretty fast on there. So it's all about workflow now. Like, unless I want a certain sound, like I said, I'll go back to the SP1200 or the 3000. But it's probably between the. I love the RAM when I had it, but I got rid of that when I got the Live. So I got the Live and I got the MPC 2500. And then I mess with these little, with these little little samplers or whatever. And but for the most part, it's the Live or the 2500, or some type of software. You know what I mean? It's all about workflow and ease and making the beat, getting what's in my head onto whatever canvas as quickly as possible. So it's gonna be something, like a newer machine. A machine, like I use Machine too, but yeah, it's the Live more than likely.
Now, the reason why I say that is because, me and you, we've known each other for a while. I mean, we both are pretty proficient on a lot of machines. And, but I know that, we always, people that are proficient on a lot of machines, they can use them, but certain machines are still their favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Of all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Certain machines have certain machines have a sentimental value for me. Like the 5000, I used the 5000 on my first album. My father had passed, so I was like making songs on that. I was dealing with that situation. So the 5000 is limited, but I'm gonna keep it because it's got a certain sentimental value. Plus, it does certain things I loved about it, like the game feature on it. It's
right.
a standard MPC. I'm gonna always keep that. I'm gonna always keep my XL, even though it's limited. I get on there every once in a while because limitations sometimes brings out certain creativity in you that wouldn't be if you're on like a machine that does everything. You know what I mean? I never really liked like machines that did everything back in the day, like the 8000, the MV8000. I could not create on that thing, man. Like Overlord, he sold me on it, man. I met him at the Guitar Center. He was working at Glen Burnie Guitar Center.
That's where I met him at.
That's when I first met you at that Guitar Center.
Yeah, that Guitar Center, yeah.
And he was I was selling him the 1000. I was either selling him the 1000, he was selling it to me. I can't even remember. But then he was telling me about the MV8000. I was like, word, it does this? You can make the whole beat. You can master it in the machine, all in the box. I was like, okay. So I went and got a used MV8 8,000, but I just could not create on it. Just because it just had too many bells and whistles that it just confused me, and I was used to something simple like the XL. The sample, the chop, and you couldn't resample on it, but you could sample, chop, and sequence. And so so certain machines like that really, like the XL, really I really hold on to because it is so simple, and it was my first machine. Mm-hmm. But it's right now it's about workflow, and you got limited time. Back in the day, you had time to sit all day and make beats or whatever, and just chill and listen to music. Now it's about workflow. We got family obligations now, work, and everything. It's about getting in the studio. Sometimes sometimes it's in your car on a lunch break.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you got things, and you can do stuff on your phone, your iPad. You got the iPad Pro. I seen you do some heat on there.
Woo, yeah, man.
Just do it on your lunch break now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, when we always have these gear debates, and we always have the gear debates. Me, Wide Body, Hertz, and all this and all that. Everybody in the collective. And I always got to bring you up, man. You and Overlord, man. I say, man, these guys, man, they got multiple machines, man. Like laying around. Like when the last time I was over your crib when Mr. Wallace was over there with us. Prop was like, Prop was like, well, what you want to use, CX? What you feel like you want to use, man? I might want to go with this 5,000 right now, man.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying? So, because, he has multiple, him, Hertz, and Overlord. So, shout out to Digger Hertz and shout out to Overlord. They have multiple machines. Right. And the beauty of it is that, that for people that use multiple platforms, whether you're using an MPC, Ableton, or even Fruity Loops or whatever, the translation between the programs, making everything sound like, the same. So whereas though you even fool yourself, I know I fool myself sometimes where I'll be like, damn, what did I make that beat in?
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? I
was sold on the iPad when you made a beat that sounded like you made a beat on a Ren or whatever, Ableton or Reason. Like, I didn't believe in that iPad until I saw you create something on that iPad. I started believing in it. I mean,
you would think that the drums would be thin and it wouldn't have a big sound because it's coming from an iPad, but no, it's not the case.
All right.
No. I've seen you do it on multiple units, Prop. I mean, you even popped up
Electron.
The Electron jump, man. I was like, what, man?
Oh, the Electron,
dog. Man, I said, man, I got to go holler at him, man. He popping up with some Serious Jones, man.
Man, Yeah, Electron.
How'd you like that machine?
Good question.
I love it. It's limited. It's only 8 tracks.
Really?
And so you got to know it's only 8 tracks. I love the sound of it. I love the whole concept. They take it back. You got 32 megabytes of sampling time.
Okay.
So you take it back to like the XL.
Right.
And you got MIDI functions, but I don't really use like that. But you got 8 tracks of audio and then 8 tracks of MIDI. And you can sample in there. You can see the waveforms. You can chop. I love it because I'm just waiting on. I haven't touched it since because I made a few beats on there, but they come out with the software where you can, through USB, you can multi-track 8 tracks of audio onto multi-tracks into your DAW, just using the USB. And they're working on that software now. It should have came out in February. That's sort of like the thing now on Electron forums. Now everybody waiting for that software so they can come out and we can all track our beats out, multi-track it out. But
well, that's staying.
Love it. It's a dope machine. Electrons are usually like hard to learn, but that particular the Electron Digitac is what it's called, the Digitac. That one it's really easy to pick up and start messing with. Has the hard pads or whatever, like an SP1200. There's like an SP1200 feel to it.
Right. You and shout out to Gerard Baracus. You and him are the only two I ever seen using that have the Digicat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all two the only two I've seen that had it that actually make hip hop on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a difference when we see people with different units But are they making the type of music we make on the units? Because that's the only way we can really gauge how good the unit is.
Yes.
When we see somebody making what we make on it. You know what I'm saying?
Before I usually buy a unit, I usually check YouTube to see if anybody has it and are they making boom bap on it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't usually buy a unit if I haven't seen anybody making boom bap on it. I sort of like you know, stepped out on faith for the Diggy Tag because I ain't seen anybody making hip hop on it. They was making like you know, drum and bass or EDM or whatever, and I was like, okay, well, it's samples, so I should be able to do what I want to do. You know, it's a sampler, so I stepped out and got it, and yeah, I know what you mean. I usually check the videos and see if anybody making hip hop on it and see how it sounds. You know what I mean? I did that for the Korg, the
Electron.
The Korg Electron. Yeah.
You and the same dude I'm talking about. Y'all the first two I seen using these Jones making hip hop on them, man. You and shout out to J.R. Baracus, man. Y'all the two I seen making hip hop on these Jones. The gray Jones. You talking about the gray one? The gray Korg, right? Yeah. Y'all the first two I seen with them.
Yeah, they and then they had the joint back in the day, the Electrop ESX, and it had the little vacuum tubes in the middle, the sampler. Dilla was using it back in the day. It has the smart media card. I got the one with the SD card.
I can see
it was so hard to use. Even Dilla was like, he had to read the manual for that joint. It's so like the operating system is so hard to grasp. I had to read the manual too, and I got rid of it because it was just too much thinking in the process to try to create a simple beat. When something's like that, I usually get rid of it. You know what I mean? I got rid of it.
Go ahead.
I got rid of the 4000, your baby.
Oh my God.
that thing is a beast. I had the 4000. I bought the XL first, then I bought the 4000 after that, like 2009 or something like that, 2008. And I was coming off the XL, and my mind wasn't ready for something that it was just so totally like blew my mind. Like it was capable of doing everything I wanted to do, but me learning how to do it just was getting in the way of creativity. So I got rid of that joint and just went back to my XL and was just sort of mastered that. You know what I mean? I think now I can rock with 4000. You know, I got the mindset I can do it, but you know, back then it's all about
But do you ever look at it like whereas though certain software and hardware get you ready for other hardware and software? Because certain because it's something that you see in some other software, you don't even know what it does. But then when you get into another software or hardware and it has it on it, and you learn how to do it on there, you be like, oh, now I know how to use that in such and such. You know what I'm saying?
Like you prepare yourself, you graduate to the next machine or whatever, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Because machines have different, audio interfaces and they do things differently. And it sort of gets you, I forget what machine got me ready. I did the XL. I forgot what I went to. I think I went from the XL, got the 4000, sold that, got a 3000, my first MPC 3000 LE. Right. And that wasn't hard to use, but it was more simpler than the XL. But for some reason, you can't sample a wave. There is no waveform. You don't see no
waveform. Mm-mm.
So I had to chop by ear, basically.
Yeah, go back to how it used to be.
Yeah, and I never did. I learned on the XL. My first sampler was waveform, so I had to train. And so I think that gets you. It trains your ear. It gives you another way how to make beats. Sometimes you have to formulate. You have to think. Okay, you got to be choosy with your samples. Sometimes, you know what I mean.
Right.
Sometimes you got to sample it differently. I was sampling piece by piece.
Right.
Then editing, truncating the different samples on different pads or whatever. Instead of the XL, I would sample everything into it, and then chop it up on the screen. And I'm like looking at the waveform, as I chop or whatever. But with the 3000, prepared my ear. It trained my ear, and that got me ready for the 1200. You know what I mean? Which doesn't have anything visually.
No.
You know what I mean? You got to be even more selective with your samples.
Yes. And everything, everything has to be speeded up.
5 seconds per bank, basically. It's not even
2.5. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and let me say this, right? Let's just say, right, you had to get rid of everything, and you was like, I only can keep one machine, one turntable, and one machine. What would that be?
It's a hard question because I get I got the sentimental value with the.
Come on.
They like my children, man.
Come on, Hillprop. I mean? One, brother. One,
got me. Get rid of your kids.
Gotcha.
I don't have no physical kids. I got my Sam. I got my babies downstairs.
Well, everybody left home, and only one staying with you.
I gotta go with workflow, so it's gonna be the live.
Wow.
It's gonna be the live because I could do everything in it, and and all you need is a turntable, or nowadays you don't need a turntable. Or you just need an iPod, or whatever sample source you use. But it would be the live turntable. My records, of course.
Let me ask you something about the live, Hillprop. If the next update on the live, what would you want to see with this live on the next update? Something they could add or take away, or
I don't know, man. It's perfect for me. Like, it does what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't even need 2.0. Like, everybody was hollering for 2.0 with audio tracks and everything like that, making it more of a DAW. But I was just taking my beats in it and then transfer it over to Ableton Live. The DAW I use. I want to see the menus, the plugin menus, a bit more simplified, so you're not scrolling all the way down to T's and the W's. And I want to see more. I want to be able to mix and master totally in there. So I need some limiters.
You already can, Wabadi. You literally can. I mean, I always say less is best. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because I'm with that. I'm not like a limiter or something in there.
They have a limiter in there.
Which one?
They have a limiter. They have a limiter and a compressor inside the. Those are standard plugins.
Well, I need somebody to show me then, because I'm.
Yeah, they got that in there.
I'm trying to finish something the other day, and I'm like, man, I want to bounce it out. What if I didn't want to bounce it out? I want to just stay there, and I want to give somebody an SD card with the beat on it, and I want to make sure it's like ready to go. Vocals in there, everything's limited. Everything's tightened up and all that.
Well, you gotta look at it like this. From using those standalone MPCs and everything, and ASRs and all that other stuff, right? There's been times where people then came in the studio and played beats straight out of the machine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you and you play beats straight out of the machine, a lot of times it already sounds the way you want it to sound. You feel what I'm saying? And especially with this equipment we have now, I told you this a while ago too. People are literally mixing as they're creating now. You feel what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They're literally mixing as they're creating. And even if you go back to when we were using MPC 60s and S950s and everything like that, when we were using that stuff, we had a turntable right there with a mixer. So we was actually EQing samples and everything before we sampled it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you definitely have enough inside the MPC standalone software to do what you're trying to do. I'm not trying to say you're going to sound like you just came out of Chum King Studio, but what I'm saying is your beats are going to be hitting hard. I mean, because when I had the live, my brother let me hold it live for 3 weeks. Man, once I put that MPC emulator plugin on the master, I was blown away, man. I was blown away with that live. I was like, whoa, man, this joint is hitting. You know?
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, it's you, man. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that. Yeah, I was agreeing with CX about back in the day we was EQing and testing the levels while we was making the beat, and we had the 8 outs and we was going into a board, and each track had its own channel on the outboard or whatever, and we was adding effects on it and messing with lows and highs and mid range and stuff like that, and Yeah, so I come from that era, so it's like I'm just getting into plugins. Like you was telling me about the Trillion bass, and I'm looking that up now. I want to get that. So I don't really mess with plugins like that, but that's one thing I want to get into, especially for the bass. So I'm not even using all the capabilities that the Live has. Like I'm just using it. I'm basically using it like I would be using an XL.
Gotcha.
Instead, I'm not messing with the. I throw some EQs and I get some effects, and I'm using certain things. But I'm not using it to its total. All the things that it offers, because I don't need all of it. You know what I mean?
I come from it. I've used an ASR. I've had that machine for decades. So this is my first ever Akai. So I'm a newbie as far as like the capability. I'm blown away by the capabilities of it. And actually, I have used a 2000 about 15 years ago, and I was kind of blown away. But the price tag was just too stiff for me at the time. Even when I, it just wasn't into it like I am now. But yeah, I used to run into the from a mixer, and I'm like, I agree with y'all. Like the only way to make beats is to mix where you go along. I can't make a beat if it ain't sounding right. You gotta be, the drums gotta be knocking, and your samples gotta be clear. Some people can do that and make the beat and then go back. I can't do that. So,
yeah, I go off feeling. Like,
right.
I start with my drums first, which is sort of a backwards way of doing it. Not a lot of people do it, but
I do too.
Inspire me to create. So I don't even move away from my drums unless they hitting. I'm hitting right. Like they got enough air on the kick or the snare. I might adjust the attack on the hi hat, but it's not such a metal tinging sound. It's more of a instead of a tip. I'm meticulous with that and making sure they hitting. And then once they hit, and I'm like, okay, and I start, let me just throw this sample over top, chop some samples up, mess around, play around. It's all off feeling for me. So, so the drums are dictating how I'm chopping, how I'm sequencing the chops over the drums. So, so like you said, I gotta, it's all, everything gotta be right. The drums gotta be right before I even start chopping the sample.
And prop. Now, say if let's say I don't know. I'm gonna use Chuck's for example. Why buy that's Washington Music Center. Chuck's or Guitar Center or Sweetwater, any no spots. Say they gave you an in-store $10,000 credit card. What would you get?
Oh man. Let's just say they had used equipment there too. Because I'm a sampler here. Like all I need is I already got my DAW, I got my Ableton, I got my Apple, I got my MacBook Pro. So it's gonna be something sampler. So already got the 1200. It's gonna be another holy grail sampler. Just make believe they got a Studio 440.
Whoa! I was just thinking about that. Man.
And they are expensive now. When I was checking for them, they was like $3,000. This was $3,000, and this was maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago.
What is that?
One of the worst sequences ever on there.
What is that? What is that? 440 Studio.
It's the Studio 440. I remember back in the day when I was up Chuck's when I brought my MPC 60. They had one sitting in the back. This when everything up Chuck's prop was in one building. Remember when everything was in one building?
Got a DJ.
And, yeah, everything was in one building. I knew Miss Lebanon personally. And the 440 wide body, it looks like a Lin drum. But it was actually the one that 3 Times Dope them used on all of their songs.
That's why I know about it. I saw what's the video? Funky Dividends and DJ Chuck. I forget his name. Chuck, whatever. He was doing like this on it. During the video, I was like, "Oh, what's that right there?" I did some research. Studio 440.
How much is that? So that's $2,000, $3,000.
Oh, I don't know. It's probably up there now. It's up there with the 1200. I'm sure.
Let's go with 3,000. We got 3,000. Spend 3,000.
Okay, yeah. I'm not really into keyboards now. Now all you need is plugins. You know what I mean? Oh man, I don't even need 10,000. I would take the rest of the money, maybe make my basement, a legit soundproof. I already got my MacBook Pro. Like I said, I got my DAW. I'm real simple with it, man. Like, back in the day, I would have threw that money into records back in the day, but nowadays, man, I don't even need that anymore.
Damn.
That $10,000, man. I buy maybe buy a 2013 Corolla and do some Ubering. I don't even.
Chucks ain't selling Corollas.
Because nowadays, man, I got basically every sampler that I want.
Damn right.
Studio 440. I would like a black 3000, the LE joint. Again, I should have never sold my joint. They going for like 3,000.
Okay, so you got 4,000 left.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get like some iconic pieces that I want. Yeah, it's gonna be something like that. Yeah, I can't even think, man. Like the 3000 LE Studio 440, and put the rest in the studio, mic booth or whatever, soundproofing. Getting the studio in shape, and throw some more couches down there. Yeah, I'm real simple, man. I don't really need that much. Because when I have something and it does too much, like it just bogs my mind and I can't create. Like I get overwhelmed easy. You know what I mean? So I'm coming from the XL, and that was such a simple machine. So yeah.
I like the fact that you use everything you own, because you said before, if you don't like the MV, got it out your life. I like the fact that you just don't keep stuff around if you're not planning on using it, man. That's dope.
Yeah. Because I look at it like, how a guitar player will pick up a Strat, he'd pick up another type of guitar, depending on what mood he was in or what type of sound he wants. I look at my samplers like that. Like if I want like a really lo-fi grainy sound, I might go to the 303 or the 404 or a SP1200. If I want a real bottom heavy sound or whatever, I might pull out the 1200. If time is a constraint and I want to hurry up and do something, I get on the live real quick. For different reasons, certain machines bring out different creativity in me. Sometimes I want a challenge. I'll bring out the 1200. I'll bring out the Roland S55, 550, the Roland S550, which is a rack sampler, was ahead of its time because it had that. Yeah, it has the video. There's a video out, and it's a 12-bit sampler that came out in like '88.
Wow, what a video!
You know who used to use that?
Who?
Howie T.
Really?
Yeah. Wow.
Was a dope producer back in the, I was looking up to him back then.
Yeah, Howie T used to use that. Even Chuck Rock said, put it in the D50. That's 50. You know, on the song said, just the two of us.
That didn't even click in my head. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's a 12-bit sampler, and it has the like I said, the video out. You can put it to a monitor, and you can actually see the waveform. You chop. You know what I mean? And then control it with the, type of MIDI keyboard or whatever, or a pad controller. A nice 12-bit sound. Nice. Cheaper. I got like $60 off eBay. And nobody mess with them because they don't know about them. Everybody going for the S950 that's going for like $600-$700 now, or the 900, like $200-$300 for the 900.
And I remember I paid $1,500 for my S950 back in the day.
Jesus.
Wow.
$1,500. With the expansion.
I was chasing skirt with that kind of money in the 90s. Hey, no problem, man. Why don't you'll tell the audience your handle, man, your website, how they can reach you, all the good things, man.
So now I got the new website, hillprop97.com, where I'm selling all my tutorials, the tutorials that I was selling on eBay, the physical DVDs I was shipping out all over the world, man. South Korea, China, Germany, Amsterdam, all over the States. And now people can just log on go on the site and just download the tutorial. So I got the, I still got the 2000 XL tutorial. I still got the boom bap drum tutorial, how to make boom bap drums on the XL or any type of sampler really. And then all 3 of my albums on there. I Want My Daddy's Record album, the SP 1200 Dreams album, the new album called Subscribe, which I just put out. I put out some songs. Throughout the years, people would holler at me about different videos and was wondering if I would make certain songs available, from the YouTube videos. So I did that with the album Subscribe Volume 1. So you can get that. And then I got different sound. I got samples on there. If you need samples, some people don't have access to certain things, so that people have been buying samples from me. And I'm gonna come out with a Volume 2, but the Volume 1 got like over 60 something samples on there, soul samples, rock samples, and stuff like that. So check the website, and then I'm on Instagram, Hillprop 97, Twitter at 97, YouTube. I started back up on YouTube again last month, doing videos on the regular. So Hillprop 97 on there too. But definitely check the website out, www.hillprop97.com for all your production needs or whatever,
No doubt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to stay relevant, man. I'm still I have a love of like sharing knowledge. That's always been in me, man. I want to continue that. Like I'm working on tutorials now. I got a tutorial on how to make drums on the SP404. Those people get at me about how to chop samples on there, quickly, how to sample drums in there. And with the 404, it's so dope about it. You don't need a mixer. It has its own, mixer built in, basically, with the isolator effect, which is basically a 3-band parametric EQ, and has a low, high, low, mid, and high, that you can mess with. And as you're sampling into it, you can mess with that, EQ your sounds as you're sampling into the machine, or use it as an effect box. So I'm showing people how to rock that.
Well, man,
look out for that. In the next week or so, I'm gonna have it available on the website. Tutorial.
Definitely
1200.
Definitely
SP4.
Definitely checking for that for sure. Excuse me. CX.
So what's your CX? I'm gonna pose the same question to you, man. I'm interested in if you had 10,000.
It ain't about me, Prop. It's about you right now.
Cause I know you into plugins, you in wide body. I mean, y'all.
No, man. Like for real though, on a real Prop. Wide body, I tell you, man. Like I kind of stay away from plugins. I'm kind of like you. You feel what I'm saying? Like I know how to use all them plugins mostly, but I kind of stay. I like keeping it simple. You know what I'm saying? I just like that's how I was with the Renaissance. That's why I would close the laptop. You know how I used to do it, because I don't want to be dealing with. I want to feel like I'm away from a computer, and so I tend to stay away from the plugins that much. But the plugins I do use, those are the main ones I use. That's it. I don't. Yeah, I got my go-tos. That's it. And Waba, I tell you, when he be popping up, man, this plugin, that plugin, I be like, man, leave that shit alone, man.
See, let me add on to that. I'm intrigued by plugins. I ain't never really used them until the last few years, man. When I first met to the collective, I had about 3 plugins. So I'll get the plugin and I use it for a couple beats, and then I don't use it anymore. That's I'm noticing that I have my go-to too. Like I'll use the Bit Crusher, the Tall Bit Crusher. I like a certain Transient Master, and I use the Ableton EQ. That's about it. And then I'm starting to use more of a limiter now on my master bus. But I'm pretty and I like my Trillion, and now I like Addictive Drums. But that's about it, man. I a lot of that shit, I'm very intrigued about it. I'm thinking that the next plugin I'm gonna get is gonna be this super plugin that's gonna blow out the last plugin I have. So I always have that expectation. When I get it, I'll use it. I'm like, man, I can use this stock plugin and still get the same results. So I'll keep it off that. And then, excuse me, my laptops, as far as using computer audio, my laptops have never been able to sustain like a Ozone, more than a couple Ozone plugins. So when I got a computer that could actually you have enough processing power to accommodate these plugins, I start going crazy with them. But at the end of the day, is this too much, man? I'll use it for a couple times and put it to the side. Well, I do love new plugins though.
It is, and I mean, to piggyback off of that, I mean, if I know it's addictive, with plugins and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because but if a lot of us carry it like those big studios used to carry it, where they would have a Pro Tools rig, and you go in their studio, and they might be a couple versions back with Pro Tools, but they still got the HD stuff, and they haven't upgraded because that works. You feel what I'm saying? If we treat our laptops and stuff that way, long as it works, and just stay right there, and long as you create, because you don't want to keep changing something, because the more you change it, the less you're going to create, because then you're going into learning mode. You know what I'm saying?
That takes away from creativity. When you learn, you can't learn and create at the same time. It's hard to do. You know what I mean? Looking for stuff, you can't find stuff, and you get frustrated. For me, I get frustrated, and I just walk away from it. Definitely. But I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get into plugins. This, a couple like Waba, you told me about the addictive drums and the Trillion. I was going to try to. So I'm straight, mostly like drum breaks or whatever. So I was wondering if addictive drums had that same feel.
You seen me using them.
Oh, okay. Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. When we was at the first retreat, I was using addictive drums then. When the one you was recording me for the video.
I'm thinking
that's crazy.
And then with addictive, you can EQ and stuff, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, right. You even need no plugins on top of that, no effect plugins.
Yeah, I usually, I tell people, sometimes you might want to make a template on your master channel. So the beats you make will sound kind of like the same sonically, every time you pull it up. That's how I did with the MPC. And that's why when you seen that video we did, when you recorded that video of me at the one where I was sitting in chair, you and Mav.
Yeah.
And that was addictive drums I was playing the samples to.
Oh, okay. I remember that sample.
Yeah.
Okay. If I could get that on a standalone live, I'd be a happy camper. I'll never plug into a computer again.
you don't even see with the standalone aspect. See, now it's a point where as though if you want to really be portable like that, you put another hard drive in there, at least a 2 terabyte, right?
Yeah.
All those addictive drums and stuff like that, you resample them into the machine.
True indeed.
So that you have something to pull up. You feel what I'm saying? You can pull them up anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
I like the fact to where
wave files to do that. They have like wave files you can
resample them.
Now they probably got them encrypted, so you can't. You know what I'm saying? But that's all you got to do is hit the flatten button on the MPC Live. How you like if you was layering, you hit the flatten button and it'll flatten a kick or snare or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's another plugin I wanted to get into was addictive drums.
I like this.
I've known them since I saw DJ Roddy Rye was doing them on the 2500, like maybe 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
He was triggering those from 25. Wow.
Yeah.
He had it midied up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You do that with what do you call it, battery too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I like the fact just when I'm chasing a sample and I'm trying to hunt it and I can just hurry and throw the addictive drums on. I ain't got it because I like to build a new drum kit every beat I make, and I'll build it from. It's got to be custom. I can't use. I gotta tweak it or something or pitch it up or something. But I like addictive. It's just and I got a few presets in there for different situations. I just like the convenience of it because most of the time you spend a lot of time on tweaking these drums, man, and you didn't lost your zing, man. Next thing you know, you just like man. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
man. Let me tell you something. I mean, I'm a drum dude, just like most of y'all. And
I say, I say.
But I'm gonna tell you like this. It's just like that time when we did the dollar bin joint. When I did those 11 beats in 2 hours. I used the same drums on all those beats.
You would never know, I guess, because she was doing different patterns or whatever.
Right. I used the same drums on those beats. You know what I'm saying? And and I know he takes pride in his drums, just like you do, Wild Body. You know what I'm saying? And but for the people that's out there that's listening to this, these two dudes, they take pride in their drums as well as myself. Our methods may be a little different from yours, but sometimes you may want to switch it up. You may, like Prop said, he start with drums. I start with drums a lot of times too, and sometimes I start with the sample. But one thing for certain, two things for sure: when you start with the drums and you get the drums right, the beat can be right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because you can add any kind of sample to it basically afterwards.
Talk to him.
You can throw a simple sound on there and get funky with the sound and freak the sound.
Man, you could spit on that damn thing. Paul.
The drums are rocking.
Right.
Yeah, the drums are rocking. That's it.
Can't do no wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's sort of my formula, like, because I don't use a lot of chops, but and you choose your chops selectively. You don't even need a lot. You know, you can freak in different ways so that the beat doesn't sound monotonous or whatever.
Right.
But, if your drum's not, I mean, that's all. I mean, that's like the, that's what you need to do. Get them to knock, and then you can throw anything on there. You know, you can get really creative. It's gonna sound good.
Hey, Prob, what you? Let me ask you something. People always say I say this on the podcast too. Let me ask you something. Well, I'm going to ask you something. Now, when I made that beat on Instagram and I dedicated that beat to you, what did you say when you heard that?
Which, trying to remember.
I did the beat like about a month ago, and I said I dedicate this one to my brother Hillprop.
Oh yeah.
And you was like, man, this need to be on a beat tape.
Yeah, man, all your beats, man. I'm blown.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know what to say, bro. I mean, I was like so blown away.
It was a beat. It was a beat I did, right? And I did it in the same vein of how you do your beats, right? And because when I was making it, I was so I just got full of, because I've been around you. You know what I'm saying? I kind of know how your style is with your beats. Mm-hmm. And then when I played it, I said, man, if somebody pulled me away, they would have swore that Hillprop made this beat, man. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why I posted. I said I'll dedicate this to my brother Hillprop, and then you was like, you said, man, that is so beautiful, man. You need to put that on a beat tape. That's the comments you made.
Yeah, because I mean, everything you do has your own style on it. Like it might have sounded like me, a little bit, but it got that CX flavor on it that makes it yours. You know what I mean? You came with it, with your own. You do your thing, bro. I mean, you and Matt, when you and Matt came over, you, Matt, and Wallace, y'all did beats like, y'all like machines. Like y'all had a sample, bam. Me, I'm like, when I do a beat, I gotta be like in a certain mood, headspace. I get up from the table, I walk around, listen to the drums, to the speakers, because I'm all on feel. I can't put headphones on that make a beat real quick in a certain amount of time. Like y'all can do that.
That beat
and beats were incredible. I was so ashamed of my beat, man. I'm still like kicking myself for that sorry beat I came up with.
Oh no, but you, I done heard plenty of heat from you, and like I said, the crazy thing is, this brother got heat coming from all types of devices, man. Whether it's a MPC 2000 XL, 3000, 5000 machine. MPC Live, Renaissance. I remember when he did it with the Renaissance, Digicat, SB404.
ASR, I seen him on ASR when he had the X.
And the iPad, you know what I'm saying?
SB404.
Yeah, iPad. I did a beat on the iPad where I had just got it. I didn't have any drums at the time. I think I was at work or whatever. Because you can sample from a turntable in there. But I was at work. And all I had was like whatever sounds I had on in my iTunes. I had a Kev Brown joint, and he had a song. He did an album for Hassan Mackey, and it had open drums. It has open drums on one of the songs, and I felt bad about it because it was Kev. I was like, these drums sound so good. I need some drums. All right. Let me just go ahead and chop these joints up, and I chopped it up, and I had this sample from these piano dudes I was talking about on the video I did with Gadget, Ferrante and Tyker, and I chopped that up on the iPad Pro and threw the drums over it, and you know, it made the beat or whatever, and I threw it up on Instagram, and Kev Brown liked it. I just chuckled to myself, if he only knew
it was a drum.
Oh man.
And, yeah, the iPad, man. Every piece of machine I try to put my own, like, touch it, you know, and put my own flavor on it, and you know, still come with that boom bap, the hard drums, samples, soulful samples, and chopped a certain way. Right. You know, it's the same formula for every machine. Every machine is going to have its own creativity limitations or whatever, but it's up to you. It's up to the user to, you know, put their spin on it and, you know, come up with something dope.
That's right. Hey, Hillprop, let me ask you this: have you ever used Fruity Loops before?
I found out about Fruity Loops and early on, like before I even knew Ninth Wonder, like early 2000 maybe. It was out, and it was like maybe a beta program or something. It was like early, like, and it was just so like different than everything else, because you can, like, you had the little buttons, you can put the kick in, just click over the different buttons and, you know, put your kicks in there, whatever, and then go to the next row and put your snares in, and it just stood out in my mind, like, okay, this is pretty dope.
Right.
But, I couldn't figure out how to, you know, sample, like, you know, so I just, you know, I just got rid of it. I think it was a free trial or something. I don't even know how I got it. It was free. I didn't pay for it. Maybe I went on the website and they was letting people test it because it was just coming out or whatever. So I didn't really get much into it. Then I went to the hardware after that. Right. Because I was going through a software thing when I first started out. I was on where, you know, Cool Edit. I was doing stuff on Cool Edit.
Cool Edit Pro.
Yeah. So, but yeah, FL Studio is dope, man. It's come a long ways, and
yeah,
I bought it when they came out with 10, 9 or 10 or something like that a few years ago, and I still have it. I haven't messed with it because I was just more so into the hardware or whatever. But it's a dope program. Like, it's fully capable of doing anything you want. You know what I mean? I was never one of those dudes that looked down on people that did FL Studio. But I've heard like CX is crazy on it. CX is crazy on Reason.
Oh yeah.
Not down on Reason or any type of software, because it's all about the product. Like, you know, I mean, I'm not like such a purist where I'm like looking down on people for using certain equipment. You know what I mean? Hey. It's all about the end product. As long as it sounds good, then I'm all for it.
Man, you see, I didn't see these cats with $1 million studios make trash. And I didn't see people with minimal stuff make that fire. So I mean,
that's what hip hop's about. It's about taking something from, you know, using something and making it out of nothing. You know what I mean? And it's about, you know, taking something that's sort of looked over and not really like looked at, you know, and then taking that and making a diamond out of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, see, I mean, Hillprop, man, I want to thank you, man, for coming on, hanging with us, man. It's been a pleasure, man, and definitely an honor, man. And
I appreciate both of you guys for having me on the show. I'm honored that you even have me on this, man. I love talking machines and hip hop and everything with you guys. So anytime, I do this in the crib or on the phone or on the podcast or wherever, at the gas station, it don't matter.
That's what's up, man.
We really appreciate you. We really appreciate it.
Thanks to the Master Channel family for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Sure. Well, that'll do it. Hillprop, be sure to check them out. Hillprop97.com for all your hip hop needs. Also check them out on the Instagram, YouTube, etc. I'm DJ Widebody.
And MCX to produce.
And this was the Master Channel, episode 7, Hillprop 97. Until next time, love, peace, and happiness. Peace.
Peace.